want to go to the bar.
So I said, yes, you can go. So I was saying that the 3-year-olds trained great yesterday, and they did. A little update where everybody stands, just so we're clear. I myself, I think, made a couple little errors over the last week. Willpower Fashion should have been in the sets yesterday, and he wasn't. That was my fault. Little communication error with Kevin. I had asked him for horses that we could have trained, and I saw that Willpower Fashion was off the list. It was just an oversight on his part, and I didn't follow up with him on that. And then when we were training, I noticed he said he was going in 30. He could have been in one of these sets, and I thought he looked great yesterday, but I apologize. That's my fault. Willpower Fashion did not get in the sets, but he's been in 230, and I thought he'd been a little more, but he wasn't. So I'm going to go through all the horses. There are a couple of horses in here I paid into a March 4th stake in the Meadows, and they will not be ready. Path of Totality, I thought had been in 222. Kevin had said he'd been in 238 with her, and she will not be ready for the March 4th stake. Not the end of the world. A long year for our girls and boys, the sophomores that are coming back. Well, let's get right to it. Ailsun. Jason said Ailsun is the most improved horse so far in 2020. She was good last year. She showed some promise at the start of the year, but kind of fell apart towards the end. And Jason has been extremely happy with how she came back, and she looked really good yesterday. Anteros, he's heading to the Ohio sale. Just not quite there yet, this guy. We tried, but couldn't quite get him there. Nevertheless, I'm certain he'll make a racehorse for somebody. He's just not getting there yet for us. So I do have to draw a line, and that line has been drawn, and Anteros is heading to Ohio for the sale on the 11th. Arctic Force, you guys have been getting updates and videos from Doug Brown's stable. Doug's done a great job with these horses, and again, it appears Arctic Force is training well. Trained well for us last year, qualified well, had some issues, and then towards the end of the year, he really started to come on towards the end of the year, and again, I see him training good now with Doug, and Doug says, this horse, he just seems like a nice horse. I think he's matured well, he's filled out well. Really excited to see what's going to take place with Arctic Force in 2020. Beach Boutique and Beach Bum BB were very good training. Again, you guys will get these videos. I guess you'll be seeing them at the same time you see this video. The 3-year-old training sets for both Beach Boutique and Beach Bum BB. Both of them were very, very good. Bottle of Red schooled so good the other day. I was on the front with Road Tripper, and we went a pretty decent mile. And Bottle of Red dusted me. Opened up 5 lengths. She had to come 27 apiece, 28 at the end of it, and she looked very, very good. Couldn't be any more happy with her. Brush Cut, pretty hard to be happy. Not be happy with Brush Cut. His first mile was fantastic the other day. Cabernet is she's almost due to come back. No, she's a little longer yet. Cabernet was going to be out for 4 or 5 weeks. She'll be back in soon. Canadian Titan, although you couldn't see yesterday, Mario did the right thing. The boys up front went a little more than they were supposed to with their 3-year-olds. See, that's the problem. I was trying to get everybody in where they were the speed comfort zones for the 3-year-olds. I didn't want Harry to say, yeah, I'll go in 225 with Capistrano when Jason was going to go more with Ailsun. Pacer or trotter, it didn't matter. I didn't want them extending the horses, and Mario did the right thing. They went a little quick up front. He stayed back further and went a mile in 235 with 236 exactly with Canadian Titan, so that was smart. Capistrano was very, very good training yesterday. Harry said he was very happy with her. She's only been in 26, I believe 27, but trained well on yesterday. Classic Con, there's another horse, just not quite there yet. This horse was on the bubble. I really liked how he trained last week, but he's just not quite there. I thought we were going to be able to get him schooled and get him ready, and just not quite there yet. So Classic Con is going to the sale on the 11th. Compass Rose DC was very good training yesterday, and then she made a little break in the last turn. James said she was just getting racy because she heard Kevin coming with Zeb Sunshine. Just got a little racy in behind the horse and made a break. Not a big deal. Don't believe me, just watch. We'll start training this week, I believe, for Kevin. Emerald Mist schooled in 2 minutes and 2/5 on Thursday. I believe we were slated to qualify this week, but Kevin will likely school her once more, I would assume. Enduring Strength made 3 breaks yesterday. Just needs no hobbles on this training track. His first training trip of 2020 was just a little too much. and in the turns he got a little scramble, he made breaks. I said to Mario, I wouldn't be too worried about the hobbles just yet. Listen, the horse is just out there to train slow right now. I wouldn't be too concerned about the breaks he made. Excellent Nation was a winner in his last start and has looked fantastic. Forged and Fire is a horse that has not looked fantastic his first two. This was a horse where my expectations were virtually zero for Forged and Fire, and then after schooling him, qualifying him, having him make a break, re-qualifying him, putting the hobbles on him. I haven't raced him yet with the hobbles on myself, driven him, but I will this coming Saturday at Flamborough Downs. Giddy Up Max looked great yesterday, training globe trotting. Wow. Jason said she was phenomenal yesterday training, which is great. It's what we want to hear. I know you can only get so much out of a slow mile, but Jason said she was very, very good. Harness AM, James said, was very good. He just snugged her at the quarter pole, and she rolled off stride and came right up trot, and he said, I chased her after that a couple of times. She never offered to make a break, so we'll call that James's fault. Hometown Boys, he's a frustrating animal. I went a slow mile with him yesterday. He trots so nice, but he can be so ignorant. He trotted his first mile good in an annoying way, and then we opted to do some vet work on Rooney, so he didn't take them to Mohawk. I put him in the Telstar and trained him in 2, 8, and 3 at Tomiko, which was a big mile over that track yesterday. I'll play it alone with a very rare break this week. I think we're going to make a few little tinkering changes with him and race him on Thursday again at Mohawk.
It's not turning there.
You're not allowed to turn there, no.
Yeah, you are. Just go this far.
Why didn't you turn there?
Because I slid by it.
Well, you need to slow down in the snow. You were doing like 14 miles an hour. Inland Beach was very good training yesterday. She's coming back good. Jason won the set with her, I believe, and looked good. Jailhouse Master, he's heading to the Ohio Sale on the 11th. Johan is galloping one more time, and then we're probably going to school him. Like to run him a mile in 2 minutes or 2:1 this coming week, and then we'll put him into school a week from Thursday. Just for me and you, this was one of the horses I'd asked Harry point blank, will she be ready for March 4th? He said yes, so we have opted to leave her in the, I forget the name of the stake on the 4th in the Meadows. Knockdown Dragout, again, continues to train well. I guess she's just doing her work at this point. And Sarah Svanstad, she's been in contact with us and said, listen, you know, she's a little, how did she call her? Was she call her fresh? She meant she was a little hot, but she did her work well, and she's been doing her work well. It's pretty hard not to like her. She's pretty likable filly. Where are we at now? Miss Brampton Beast will begin training next week. Mario said she has looked fantastic since she what's that? On my side. Has looked very good for the last little while. Jogging. Very impressed with how this filly's growing up. I think she's going to have a pretty good 3-year-old season. Waiting and banking on that. Miss Brampton Beast. Miss Mischief Maker is going to school this week in 2-2. I think we're going to take her to Missouri also to school her. I've told Steve she looks good, but I think he just wants to see her go for himself. A little different situation. You know, Steve is interested in potentially retaining her to breed her. I'd like to race her, but we'll see. We'll see how that'll be up to her. There's no point racing her if she's not going to race well, and I think we should get a pretty good idea of how she is next week. I'd like to see her go mile in 2-1 or 2-2 Thursday at Mohawk. Muscle Chrome trained pretty good. James went with her yesterday. A horse that really stood out yesterday. Why are you looking at me for? A horse that really stood out to me yesterday was Nancy Allison, and unfortunately, Muscle Chrome was the one that she pounced on coming into the last turn. You guys are going to get a look at it. Muscle Chrome's a nice filly. She's always done her work well, always tried hard, and that's no exception. I've always liked this filly. I kept her for a reason, because I always will go to bat and stick up for horses that try hard, and Muscle Chrome is one of those. Nancy Allison, we just talked about her, how good she looked. She's still on the right line a little bit, a little grabby in behind, but man, oh man, when I cut her loose, she was flying yesterday. Need Your Opinion's going to start training again next week. Kevin was jogging beside me yesterday for a little while. She looks like $1 million, this filly. Looks real good. Olympic Hopeful, still in Florida. Should be coming back sometime this spring. I suspect they'll start Hopeful April, I would suspect, somewhere around there. Overdue Mission. No hobbles yesterday. Made a little break on Jason. Jason had put the snake cord back in her mouth for the first time, and she was fighting with it and made a break. But the way she was trotting, I don't know if she'll need the hobbles this year. Very interested to see how this filly continues to train down. Path of Totality, as I said, I apologize. I had reported she'd been in 22. I must have got her mixed up, or I was certain he said that, but clearly he didn't. Kevin told me she'd been in 238, and she's on her way down. Really Blue Chip continues to train well for Doug Brown. He likes her, and Arctic Force said they've both been training very, very well. Rooney Blue Chip, we did a little vet work on Rooney Blue Chip on Saturday. We'll probably take him over to Mohawk Tuesday and go mile 2.6, 2.7 with him. Rose Run Valiant made a break on me. I'd said you'll hear it in the training video. I think he needs a little more weight, tiny bit of equipment on him, a little equipment change and a little more weight. And I think Rose Run Valiant will be off to the races soon enough. Rose Run Versatile is schooling this Thursday. No hobbles on. She trained in 2.4 on a deep track the other day, Jason said, and was very strong. So can't wait to see how she looks on Thursday. Sebastian Yu, he's going to go through one more galloping session, I believe, with Johan, and then he'll be schooling right after that. Sometimes things happen. Won his training set yesterday, I believe. I just heard it click. Won his training set yesterday, I believe, and then made a little break in the turn after, but Jason said he just over-trotted himself. Again, there was no hobbles on him. He looked very, very good. Spend that money, he's going to need the hobbles. She made a break in 2 of the turns, which isn't that surprising. Spend that money with the hobbles her whole life, so it shouldn't be that shocking that she needs them right now. Spirited Dio doesn't have them on, though, right now. I saw the video clip that John Bootenshane made the other day. That filly looked like she was all business with no hobbles on. I think he said he went a mile in 2.36 or 2.37, but didn't look to me like a horse that needed hobbles. So the maturity of that filly is really phenomenal when you look at it overall. Sunshine and Shade trained good yesterday. He was in behind us finishing up. He's close to probably schooling in the next 2 weeks, I would think. Susie K qualified the other day. Very, very good. Mile 2.2, last half 59, last quarter 29. Couldn't be much more happy with her. Trafalgar made a little break here. He said, I didn't want to run up on top of you. I said, listen, just roll her up on the horse's shoulder, on the guy's shoulders. She won't make a break. And I think it was when he grabbed her, she maybe just got jostled a bit, made a little break. Trafalgar just doesn't make breaks. So not a big deal, a little anomalous. Certainly not the end of the world for Trafalgar. Watch Avenue, watch out. Remember I told you this horse, James liked him at 2. I was in Missouri on Watch Avenue. Just show me. I wanted to see it. And I wanted to see it, and then I did at the schoolers the other day. He was very, very good. 2 minutes, I think Kevin's going to school him once more. This horse looks legit, and I can't wait to see him race. Willpower Fashion trained in 2:30 something and looked good. And Zeb Sunshine will be schooling this Thursday. He was in the drone sets only because we'd done work, skipped the schoolers, and was off for the training set this week. So that's all the 3-year-olds. That's all the 2-year-olds. I'll be back with all the Barns in just a minute.